13-game win streak for Auburn. Almost a full calendar year since they last lost at Neville, and they run into an Oklahoma team tonight that the last time Oklahoma was at Neville, I think I was there. Somebody gave me seats like in row 1, right behind the scorer's table, like row 1. And Stephen Pearl said, how the hell did you get these seats?
That's a good question, Mike Stephen.
Yeah. And I got friends.
Yes. He didn't know you had friends. Yeah. The Auburn associate head coach joins us now. It was a legitimate question, Coach. I would have asked the same.
Hi, fellas. How we doing?
Good. How are you?
He must have pulled strings, because I've never been asked back to those seats ever again.
Yeah.
I figured it had to have been Taylor, but I mean, if you have more than one Auburn friend, I'd be relatively surprised.
I've actually got 6. My entire supper club.
He can count them. He can count them.
I've got 6, and they've got about 12 kids in school at Auburn right now.
There you go. Yeah. That's good.
So when you go to Ole Miss and score 92, that to me is unexpected. I mean, that is such – Chris Beard is so good defensively, doing it on the road. That was one heck of a performance.
Yeah, I mean, we shot it pretty well. We shot it well. I mean, we obviously, like, when people double the post on Janai, it really opens up our offense, because he's become such a great passer. And when you surround him with a lot of really good shooters – obviously it leads to making 14 threes. I mean, that's the 11th time we've made double-digit threes. So that wasn't really all that surprising. For us, I thought our offensive rebounding, Dylan Cardwell had like 4 offensive rebounds, 3 of which he kicked out for perimeter shots. So our guys did do a really good job, I thought, of knocking down open threes when they came to them. I thought we were, really sloppy early, 5 turnovers early in that game. Obviously, Ole Miss does that. They're top 10 in the country in steal percentage and turnover percentage. So it's something that they obviously like to do. And, defensively, I thought we were really bad at Ole Miss. Transition defense was subpar. And, I thought we didn't do a great job of blocking into personnel. Padula has 29 on us, and he had 4 against us last year when he played at Virginia Tech, and he's, really improved. He's a hell of a player. But I thought our guys, obviously a really, really difficult environment. I think that was their 3rd largest home crowd in the arena's history. So, it was great to have a bunch of Auburn folks in the building too. But, obviously a great, first ranked matchup. And, I thought our guys, for the most part, responded to it and did a good job of finding a way to win in a tough environment.
Have you figured out this Oklahoma team yet? They start out conference play. They lose their first 4. Now they've won 3 of 4. A couple of really good freshmen in that backcourt with Fears and Forsythe. But what do you see with the Sooners team when you look at them on tape?
I mean, they're playing better. They've won 3 out of 4. And if you look at their losses early, I mean, at Alabama, only one team's gone in there and won. Texas A&M is, just going on the road and stealing games as of late. They're really tough. They're a top 10 team. Georgia's only lost, I want to say 1 or 2 games at home this year. So that's a really tough place to play. And Texas is a team that's playing, really good basketball right now. So I think, they've played 4 really good teams in our league. All 4 are tournament teams. And then, they're able to win at Arkansas and beat a ranked Vanderbilt team by 30 points at home. So, and then early in the year, they win Battle for Atlantis, beating Providence, Arizona, Louisville. They beat a top 25 ranked Michigan team. So, it's a team that obviously has a ton of ability offensively. They're really special. Jeremiah Fears, one of the best offensive freshmen, really just one of the best offensive point guards in all of college basketball. Jalen Moore played with Miles Kelly at Virginia Tech. Leading scorer in our league right now, and he's a 3-man that's playing the 4 for him. So it's a really tough matchup for guys at that position, and they surround him with guys that can really shoot the ball. You got multiple guys that shoot over 45% from 3. The Goodine kid has made 7 threes against Texas A&M in the first half. So offensively, it's a really dangerous team. A team that if they get hot can obviously on any night have a play well and obviously go out there and win big games. So offensively, it's going to be really tough for us, and we got to get back in transition and do a great job of guarding their guards. They shoot they're top 25 in percentage from 3-point, 2-point, and free throw line. So offensively, they're a bit of a juggernaut, and defensively, they're solid. We got to obviously do a good job of executing, making shots, and just kind of doing what we've done on the offensive end to this point, and we got to obviously improve on our defense a little bit.
In journalism school, they taught me not to have a favorite. Luckily, I decided to be an entertainer and not a journalist. Dylan Cardwell is my favorite Auburn player. And it started last year at the SEC tournament. I just love his personality. I love how he's just a giving player to his teammates. Him being back and what he's doing with this team this year. Tell me about him and what you see from him in practice and around the program, because I love the guy.
Yeah, I mean, he's the definition of what we as coaches, look for in young men. A kid that's, stayed at Auburn since his freshman year and, had to play behind guys like Walker Kessler and now Janai Broom and, just continuously year after year has gotten better and has just become elite in his role. Has accepted his role, has loved his role, and it's the reason why he's one of the winning. Maybe, I think he's going to end up being the winningest player in Auburn basketball history. And Dylan in the Ole Miss game, he like I said, he gets those huge offensive rebounds, kickouts, and no one talks about this, but he goes 4 for 5 from the foul line, late in that game, and that's just a testament to him because he just constantly stayed right, stayed ready, and just works at his game, and is always in the gym working on his free throws and, working on passing out of the post and working on finishing around the rim. And obviously he's just that spark plug and, his energy is contagious and it gets the rest of the guys going. So, I was incredibly proud of Dylan and we have such high expectations for Dylan. That was the second double-double of his career. And, we think he's capable of doing that every night. So, for Dylan, it's just about continuing to believe in himself and continuing to have high expectations for himself. Because when Dylan plays well, obviously we're a different team.
Auburn Associate Head Coach Stephen Pearl with us. Auburn plays Oklahoma tonight down at Neville Arena. Dylan also said after the game that BP and you had recruited some guys that are not right in the head, which was a compliment. Yeah, he meant it as a compliment. He laughed about it. I thought that was a pretty funny line, and you're around those guys more than any of us are, so I wondered how you interpret it.
Yeah, I mean, he's right. You come to our practice, he's not wrong. You come to our practice and it's a damn circus. It's just our guys, our kids being kids, and it's kind of just how BP's always coached and kind of let his players be who they are and be themselves. And, I think that carries over to when – we play in difficult environments, and we're 5-0 on the road in SEC play this year. And, guys, like you said, Chad Baker and Tahad, like those guys are better when we're on the road because they love taking that role on of going in there and playing the villain a little bit. And, it kind of shows with their step up and their performance. And, BP's always kind of specialized in guys like that, have a little edge to them and, have a little more going on than your typical student athlete, and he's able to bring the best out of them, and that's why guys like them flourish in our system. So it was a funny quote, but it's a very true quote as well.
A very very random question here, but maybe one of the most surprising trades in NBA history. I know the answer is probably both, but if you had to guarantee your life on one of the two guys right now to win a national championship, you can have Luka or you can have Anthony Davis on this current team. Who would be the better fit to guarantee a national championship? And again, I know the answer is probably both.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to win with either one of them. But I mean, I think Anthony Davis is just, to me, he's more of a guy that is going to impact, winning just because he's able to do it on both ends. Luka's a once in a lifetime generational talent. Offensively, he may end up being one of the best, big point guards in the history of the game. But his biggest, flaw and the biggest knock on him over the years is that he just doesn't guard. He's a hole defensively, and that's something that, just kind of looking on Twitter and stuff and just kind of reading through things. I think, if LeBron is wanting to still be a mentor at this point in his career, I think he could be really good for Luka because no one's, taking care of their body or been a professional or trained like a professional more than LeBron has, and maybe that's something that Luka could learn from. But I think Anthony Davis, even though we're pretty full up front, having somebody like that on your team would be really hard to replace.
Did BP almost? I mean, was Anthony Davis in the mix? I know Calipari obviously gets him to Kentucky, and they have that incredible magical season. But did you guys recruit him?
There's no chance we were getting Anthony Davis. Sometimes you gotta know where to hunt and where not to hunt, and that was not one of the areas that we could go hunting.
I mean,
so,
what would he get in today's NIL? A guy like that coming out. I mean, I guess Cooper Flagg's probably getting that.
Yeah, I mean, it's you name the number, he's going to get it. It's similar to guys like Jabari or Chet or Paolo. Those guys. In this day and age of NIL, could have gotten really whatever they wanted at this point.
I hope Taylor sends out a tweet that says Stephen Pearl just said on Next Round that Luka would not start at Auburn because he's lazy on the defensive end and lazy in the weight room. That would be great. Hey, halfway point in the SEC after tonight's game. How do you not let the grind set in? Because it does seem like the season is so long and you guys are at the top of every metric, every standing. How do you not just mentally let the guys start playing it forward to March and still take care of business right now? That's got to be a daily something you guys talk about in meetings.
Yeah, I mean, we as a staff and we as a team feel like we haven't even started playing our best basketball yet, especially in SEC play. Like minus the first 30 minutes against Missouri, we really haven't played as well as we're capable of playing in the first 8 games. We feel like there's a ton of room for improvement and a ton of room for growth. And after every game, I'll break down the defense and Coach Burgermaster will break down the offense. And we have clip tapes of, everywhere that we need to get better. And it takes up a lot of time because there's a lot of things that we got to improve on as a team. And I think that's what kind of keeps our guys going is they also believe that, we're far from perfect and we're far from where we really want to be playing our best basketball. So that's kind of how you don't let guys get complacent or, let the success set in because, we want more out of them every single day in practice, every single game because, quite frankly, like there's a lot we got to get better at for us to continue to beat the best teams on our schedule and for us to have a chance in March to do something. So that's kind of what our approach has been, and I feel like our players are taking on that same approach.
All right, he is Auburn Associate Head Coach Steve Pearl. Auburn in Oklahoma tonight. They're in Neville Arena. Coach Pearl, thank you very much for the time. Always great talking to you.
Appreciate you, fellas. War Eagle.
All right, thank you. Good luck tonight. That is Stephen Pearl joining us each week. Very kind with his time, and we appreciate him doing that. And Auburn takes on Oklahoma tonight at Neville.